Got to put it down. 9-1.
Talk about going from the cupcake into the full course. There's Bill Parcells again. Seeing his buddy Bob Knight up by 1 now, thanks to Todd Leary.
Parcells was a power forward. I told him before the game, I said, Bill, cut it out talking to these writers, power forward. You a Brick City, USA, a big wide body.
Chris Reynolds comes back in, and the defensive specialist. Indiana up by 2.
A chance to get a good shot here, go in at halftime with a tie. Florida State, let's see who they put it in the hands of.
Derek Carroll, they better get it off. They don't get
don't get it off. Don't count it. Don't count it. Too late. Too late.
I was going to say that was too easy for Dennis. He came over that screen, curled around to the basket instead of fading away.
Stobart gets the return. Wells with a nice follow.
Indiana really getting beaten to the glass. Really on the second shot. Indiana likes to catch the ball, get a triple threat position, look down inside.
Carroll called for that foul.
John, we talked about one of the elements to a good team defense, Indiana style, is blocking out. Look at right there. Wells goes to a direct lane to the basket. Nobody lays a body on him. You're a defensive player. You got to find your man. Look at the offensive rebound, 16-9. That means you're playing aggressive basketball. One of the keys to playing aggressive basketball, forcing the turnovers, steals, offensive rebounding, block shots.
Edwards with 7 of those offensive boards. Pat Graham.
That's what he does best. Stroke the jump shot. That's why he was Mr. Basketball. Sat last year out, red shirt, foot surgery.
Lead is now down to 6.
Good defense by Graham. Good denial.
Sura says to Cassell, put some pepper on that thing. Get it in there.
Indiana, the beat goes on and on, though. Next year, they bring in Richard Mandeville, 7 foot from out of California. Robbie Eggers, 6'10". They double it up inside.
Sura lets it fly and cans it.
He's just a big-time scorer. ACC Rookie of the Year. Beat out some quality people. Beat out James Forrest for that award. Georgia Tech's finally.
Graham is free, and that's a 3-pointer for the Hoosiers.
Can't allow him to get a good look at the basket. You got to be aware. Scouting report, evaluation. He comes on the floor. You got to talk. Got to communicate to your teammate. He can shoot the ball, match up, get in his face. This is a big-time game, John, for this early in the season.
Nice steal by Graham.
This is Bowen Holyfield, baby. This is big time. And there's a real heavyweight.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden, everyone. John Saunders along with Dick Vitale. Those of you just joining us now, we have a great one in game number 1 of the semifinals of the NIT. Indiana led big early in this game, and right now, Florida State has a 5-point lead after getting up by 10.
Florida State playing good, solid team man-to-man defense. Indiana usually excels in the half-court offensive attack.
Cheney from the baseline.
You talk about player of the year this year. You have to think about Allen Houston, who can stroke it at Tennessee. You look at the senior class, you got to talk about this guy. Certainly Bob Hurley down Duke. What'll hurt Houston is the fact that they won't win as big as the Indiana kids and the Duke kids.
Cheney now with 25 points. He closes it to 3.
Some underclassmen will make a run for that too. Mashburn of Kentucky. There's the turnover.
Cassell loses it. Alan Henderson.
Nice pass.
Cheney
nice pass.
That won't fall. And Sura. Cheney's
He's
back
got a
on
trailer.
defense.
He's got the trailer. He should have kicked it back to the trailer. He tried to take Cheney a little pride, a little macho time. He says, hey, come on, Cheney, try to defend me. And he had a slow and defensive transition getting back.
Cheney picks up the loose one. It won't go. Edwards with the rebound. The Florida State Seminoles on the warpath, if you will, up 62-57 over the Indiana Hoosiers with just about 7.5 to go.
I wonder if Burt Reynolds is watching. I wonder if Burt Reynolds is watching. Hey, what about his quotes? He ripped Miami left and right. Unbelievable, Burt. Take it easy on Miami.
The way it looks, he doesn't just watch, he calls the game as well.
He's one of my favorite actors. I wish I had his looks. Wow, I'd be a TV star if I looked that good.
I don't think so.
Indiana's got to come up with a good defensive stop right here. What confidence Sammy Cassell and also Sura play with. They play with such confidence. Here's Hands now giving Sura a rest.
Tries to find Edwards.
Good defensive play by Henderson. Got the stop they wanted. Give it up and get it back. Get it to your shooter.
Cheney with the dish to Pat Graham, and Cassell back on defense.
Very unselfish, Calvert. Right there, if I'm Calvert Cheney, I'm looking at the basket for the 15-footer and shooting the rock.
Hands goes to the bench now as Bob Sura checks back in.
Just wanted to get him a little rest on that sideline. Ty Kennedy's got an excellent staff. Kenny Williamson from out of New York City. Worked with him over at Iona. Also, Tom Carlson does a solid job.
Stay right there. Here we go.
They made some noise right away in that ACC, winning on the road like they did.
6 wins on the road. Not been done by a first-year team in the ACC before. Reynolds pulls it back out. Graham to the baseline. Some help there, but he still manages to muscle it in.
Excellent drive by Pat Graham, who's really a standstill shooter, but shows that he's also worked on taking the ball to the basket. Love the defensive stance and presence of Chris Reynolds. You talk about all defense, you got to put him out there with Derek Phelps of down at Carolina.
That's Edwards for 3, a little long. Wells, nice job with the rebound. Underneath to Sura. Out of bounds was Pat Graham as he went for the ball.
The reason Florida State's got the lead really has been the explosiveness of their guards and their ability to shoot the ball, make the big shot, even though they're not shooting well, and also their offensive rebounding, aggressiveness, really being aggressive, attacking the glass.
6.5 minutes left here. Pat Graham looked like he took an elbow to the eye. Maybe have a little cut.
Well, if he has a cut, remember the new rule now in college basketball. Any kind of bleed, he's got to come out of the game, get medical attention before he can come back on the floor.
They could use him, too. He has 7 of their last 9 points. As we look at the rules for cuts and bleeding, player must be removed right away, treated, cannot return until he has the medical clearance. Now, even if you get blood on your uniform or your shoes, it must be treated with the solution, or they must change the uniform.
And obviously that's all related to the AIDS situation.
Looks though here as though maybe he's got something in his eye.
Might be a contact problem.
Because if he was cut, he should be on the bench and replaced by a player.
He just needs a lot of game time. Has not had the chance to play a lot of game action due to his injury, but had a tremendous high school career. Anytime you miss the basketball in Indiana, those kids start playing from day one, dreaming and chasing that dream to be a hoopster. They get a foul right here on the inbounds on
Henderson.
basketball.
Little hold. Henderson looks like he's not quite sure what he did.
Remember the rules. 101 goes into effect on the 7th. You start to shoot the bonus to 2 on the 10th.
Dobar turns around on top of Cheney, but is way too long.
I'd go to Henderson down in this possession. Get him involved.
Damon Bailey fires up a 3. Good hustle underneath by Cheney. Everybody going for it. Possession arrow is going to Florida State.
But that's just great to see a superstar and to see a quality player hustle, scrap, scrape his knees. I mean, that's the kind of John Madden kind of player. He'd love number 40. Another guy that'll be right in the run in terms of player of the year. You got to talk about Jamal Mashburn down at Kentucky. You got a real thin class this year in that senior group. We talk about the names that jump at you right now. Cheney, Hurley, Houston, Terry DeHare, Douglas Edwards. But really, when you think about it, there'll be some underclassmen who will join that NBA draft. But Jamal Mashburn, in fact, Rick Pitino said, I would be very surprised, basically, if it doesn't go, if he has a great year. In fact, he'd advise him to go.
Edwards to Dobar. Back out to Sura. That's a three-pointer. It won't go, and underneath is Alan Henderson.
They had excellent execution out of the post play there. A little split off the post.
Bailey is stripped by Cassell. Wells goes after it. But it finally goes out of bounds and will return to Indiana. Seen a lot of great hustling in this game.
Yeah, a lot of scrapping. We got a lot of pride. You got two quality teams, two top 10 teams in America hooking up in New York City. Anytime you play for a tournament championship or a tournament trophy, people really, going to come and respond. First commandment of competition, thou shalt play hard.
Sam Cassell, nice job by Sura to chase that down. That was on his way out of bounds.
Offensive foul.
Offensive.
That's one of the points of emphasis. Do not allow the offensive player to get the advantage, utilizing what they call the swim stroke to try and get possession inside. You don't allow that to happen. Now we're going to watch the post inside. There's Cheney, and there's the hold off and a little push by Edwards, throwing him out of the way. Good call by Joe Mingo.
And we're into the bonus now, as Indiana will go to the line for 1-1 from here until 10, and then it'll be 2 for the rest of the way.
This is where really Indiana usually succeeds. Bobby Knight usually does a solid job, and Pat Kennedy, I'm sure, as he's talking to Kenny Williamson, is aware of it. His clubs really, the Generals teams really have won a lot of games in the last 5 minutes when it's winning time. Free throw shooting being one of the reasons, making the extra pass. I mean, he's not close. He's 0 for 3 on a free throw line.
That is a big surprise.
He's just not really smooth right there on his rotation.
Cheney for a closer look. Great dish down to Pat Graham. And from there, he's not going to miss.
Pat Graham with the good hands to make that catch. But what a look by Cheney. Think about what Cheney's done here today. He's dove on the floor for loose balls. He's made the open jump shot. He's exploded in transition. He shows he can pass the ball. He's going to be an excellent wing player on the next level. There's a good pass. Pat Graham giving him a lot of productivity off the bench, earning some PT playing time. 9
of the last 11 Hoosier points, make it 10 of the last 12.
See that nice rotation, backspin, that's what we're talking about, rotation.
Andre Reed comes into the game, replacing Byron Wells.
Indiana was down 8. This game has been a game of swinging spurts, really. You had early in this game, you believe this or not, Indiana jumped out by 15.
They were out by 15. Florida State had a 12-point lead. And right now we are tied at 62 apiece. We take a look at what will happen next. It'll be UCLA and Seton Hall getting the winner of this game. And right now, after playing the first half and 15 minutes or just thereabout here of the second half, we're tied.
It's something about wearing that Indiana uniform. Expectations galore. Almost like Notre Dame in football, Miami in football. Every time you play, people are expecting you to win. And people play at another level against you. They get so fired up.
Cassell jacks up the 3. No good. Long rebound chased down by Chris Reynolds.
Shot selection could be the key and the difference in this game down the stretch.
To the baseline is Cheney.
Big time.
Give the Hoosiers the lead again.
He's awesome, baby. I mean, he is flat out awesome. You got to love him, Big John. Stop smiling at me here.
I'm loving being here watching this. Sura to the baseline. He's blocked by Henderson. Edwards gets it back, and again, they just put the shot up right away.
They're really relying on a second and third shot. Shot selection in the last 2 possessions. Edge, you had to give the edge. Has to go to Indiana. Here's Calvert Cheney, a little baseline drive. I mean, he strips the defensive player. Nobody's going to get over. He hangs. He floats. He counts it. Came out of Evansville, Indiana. In fact, he was not their big-time recruit when he came out of high school. It was Pat Graham, Player of the Year, Lawrence Funderburg. Indiana on a 26 run in the last 8-10. Andre Reed, the big guy, converts.
Get it back to a tie again.
Gotta like Pat Kennedy's contagious personality. He's one of those quiet players. Big guy really takes a real good... I mean, he's done a solid job defensively inside on Henderson.
The
don't hear his name mentioned a great deal. And now here's Indiana trying to get great execution out of their half-court game. 4 passes, little curl move into the lane.
Greg Graham gets the foul.
You win a lot of basketball games, John. They have 4 basic constants to their game when you talk Indiana basketball. Number 1, shot selection. Always have discipline and shot selection. Number 2, another constant is make the extra pass, get us to the free throw line. Number 3, consistent team defense. And the 4th, basically, when you talk about Indiana, I mean, I really look at their club. They take all those phases and do exceptionally well. Is the 4th one is down talking because the clock is running, you're off. I mean, that's just part of his way. Always looking to put you on the defensive. And he was playing with people there, even though he was really going to make my all wacko team.
Looking to put Florida State on the defensive as well.
Look at Reed.
Reed does follow, but he missed. In there again. It's on the rim. Look at Dobard go after it.
Florida State really staying up on the glass. Live leagues. Climbing and climbing and climbing. Whoever loses this game, put it down. Win or lose. These teams are winning 24, 25 games. These are 2 big-time clubs. There's Reed working the glass, but he bricks that one right there. But there's the offensive rebound. Sammy comes off the weak side, and they keep it alive. It's nice to have 4th and 5th guys in your lineup like Dobard and Reed. Give you great size, shot blocking ability, good rebounding presence. Dobard, quick feet inside, good defensive player.
And the game is tied once again.
We have a good one. NIT semifinals, 2 heavyweights going head-to-head. Here we go. 2-1-2 press. One of the reasons they try to get you out of a rhythm with that press. Now they fall back man-to-man as opposed to the zone like they did last year. Remember their last 2 losses the last 2 years to close out their season. Florida State lost to Indiana in the NCAA tournament.
Sura gets out on Pat Graham before he can jack it up.
He's their number 1 option right here, Mr. Cheney.
Shot clock under 10.
Look for
Reynolds. Shakes free of his man. Great job by Dobard to block that.
Not the guy that Bobby Knight wanted to shoot the basketball right there. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a change. I mean, that's not the guy you want to shoot the rock. He had right there Reynolds. Graham flare into the corner.
Sura is open, rattles in, but won't roll home.
I mean, it was right there for Sura. There was no doubt he was going to shoot the rock right there. This guy here can shoot the ball. He's got to get open. Graham.
Sura 3 for 18 on the day, coming off of 34 against Iowa State. Cheney gets 3-man in the air, and he walked.
Excellent call by the official. He lifted his pivot foot. That's about the first mistake he's made all day.
You got to give him that after the type of game he's having.
You know, it's amazing as you talk about the numbers of Sura having a horrible night shooting the basketball, but it hasn't stopped him from that looking at the basket. I mean, he could care less about those numbers. I mean, he's going to let it fly, and he's going to have games where he goes 12 for 15.
Approaching 2 minutes to go, and we are tied.
Isolating Shams. Nice dish.
Sura backs out.
He's going to let it fly.
He is hammered by Pat Graham.
Not a good free throw shooter. Shot about 60% last year. Sura. They say he's really been working on that part of his game, knowing that he's going to go to the free throw line a great deal with his slashing ability and his quickness.
And now with under 2 minutes left, he can regain the lead. Sura 3 for 6 at the line in this game.
It's so great to see kids that did come out with the great ratings, the superstar ratings out of high school, even though he was an excellent player and a legend in his area. Shot that one well. Best player from that area since David Popson. Remember Popson was down in North Carolina? Played in the NBA. You look good shooting him there down the stretch. And forget about that 60% from last year.
Get them when they count. Ask Emil Robinson about that.
2-1-2 press. Get to the wings. Bring the ball to the middle. Get them out of that screening game. Now they're back into it.
Bailey tries to find a baseline. Reed cuts it off. Nice job by Reed. He has to bring it back out.
Good defensive presence by Reed on the inside. Oh, nice look. Nice look by Talbot Cheney. He was one step ahead. The one thing about Indiana players, I often talk about it, they really don't react, they anticipate. Talbot Cheney anticipated that cut and had the awareness dumping that ball on the inside.
Reed, his 4th personal foul.
Reed's going to steal him off to the baseline. He's going to spin to the lane. There's Reed. He says, no, you're not getting the baseline. There's the double up. Now Cheney recognizes his teammates double, steps out. Now he's going to get the ball right here. He's going to kick it out to Cheney. And then they're going to get back into the offensive set.
Pat Graham now with a chance to tie.
He's got the perfect stroke, and it doesn't go there. Could be a little fatigue. Hasn't played a lot of minutes. He's got a picture-perfect stroke. This kid right here on the line. Remember, you shoot a free throw with those legs.
Picture perfect, but 2 for 4 on today.
Yeah, he's really got that nice follow-through.
Indiana 9 for 17 from the free throw line.
That's not their trademark. Right here, Pat Kennedy's team's got to get a good look at the basket.
Throw to Edwards.
Edwards, a good interior passer. Probably the finest interior passer for a big player in the country. Down in the boxes. If you double up on him, he'll find the open man.
Cassell long with his jumper at the Pat Graham with an easy dish.
Oh, bad play by Sammy Cassell. Bad play in many ways. Number 1, John, he lets the jumper fly, and he doesn't rotate back in defense. So they have no defensive balance. Graham recognizes, sneaks out.
We want to remind everybody, Sunday night football on ESPN from the AFC West. The Los Angeles Raiders and the San Diego Chargers join Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann this week. It's 8 o'clock Eastern. That's following NFL prime time. You can see the standings. Very important game as we close in towards the playoffs.
Pat Graham, what a job he has done. In the last 9 minutes, he has put 13 points on the board. What productivity off the bench. Last year, they got that kind of scoring out of Greg Graham. He was like one of the premier 6-men in basketball. There's Billy Parcells, Mike Francesa to his left. Bill Parcells, as I said, was a big scout for Bobby Knight. Worked together down at West Point when he was coaching football at West Point as an assistant.
Florida State now with 1 timeout remaining. Indiana with 3. There's blood on the jersey of Pat Graham. At least it looks like blood.
If that's blood, isn't it supposed to be
taken off?
That's interesting. 14 big points for Graham.
And a 2-point Indiana lead. Under a minute now.
Floyd Knobs, Indiana's got to be really happy with Graham. Floyd Central High School super was Mr. Basketball. What a performance. There's the defensive presence. Bobby Knight now working the offense and defense. Going to make the substitution. Bring Bailey on the floor. See, he knows Reynolds is the defensive stopper. You talk about my old Rambo team. You're going to play Reynolds. Takes Reynolds out of the game, and now he brings in Bailey for offense.
Alan Henderson forced that turnover.
Look at the clock right now. They're going to try to spread the court. Bailey's the guy you might want to foul. I mean, he's been Brick City 0 for 3 on that line. Can't put a hand on him, Bob. They spread the court. There's a double up.
Turnover they force it. Florida State gets it as Graham can't hang on to it. And Florida State calls a timeout with 22 seconds.
That's their last timeout for Florida State. Florida State, no field goals in the last 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Indiana locked up defensively, but they better lock up right now. Knowing the Florida State kids and the freedom they have. Don't be shocked if a guy like Summer or Cassell, even though the rule says get the high percentage shot, let's one fly for 3-point land and knocks it down.
Would not be surprised at all.
See the double up, and now they're going to close off everybody else, and he can't find anyone. He can't find anyone. Now they triple team him. There's the ball, baby, and Florida State, the Seminoles have it. What a great way to kick off the semifinals here in the NIT. You're smiling, you're having a blast of your life.
You could not ask for anything better than this. 2 teams ranked in the top 10, coming down to the final 22 seconds of a 2-point game. We could see overtime.
Oh, there's no question in this possession right now. See if you're Pat Kennedy right now in designing your play. During these timeouts, there's a lot of strategy taking place. You make your players aware of the clock. You make them aware of the score. You make them aware of who you want to shoot the ball, who to defend. Right now, if you're Pat Kennedy, you don't want to take it down, though, to the last second. You want to get that good shot with maybe 6, 7, 8 seconds so you have a chance if they come down with the rebound foul and maybe get the ball back again.
You're already working double time. Bob Knight gets to watch the second game. You do not. Florida State and Indiana following that'll be UCLA and Seton Hall.
That's my alma mater, played against the UCLA Maroons.
So if we get overtime, boy, are you going to pick up a big check this week?
Wow, I'd like to work Porkins. Here we go now. They spread the court, locking up defense, the clock winding down. Sort of having a bad night shooting it. They're going to go there. It's down in the box, baby. There it is. Tie game.
Timeout, Indiana.
They let too much time on that clock run. Indiana allowed that clock to run. Should have got the timeout a little quicker.
It looked like Chaney did try and get it right away. As soon as he got the ball before it was even out of bounds, he started to signal for the timeout.
Perfect execution. That was a call design #1 option by Pat Kennedy. During that timeout, their first option was to go to Edwards down in the box. Not only to look at the goal, but if a double team came his way, find the open man. And there's Edwards. He was a super in high school. Rated second best to Mr. Anderson. He knocks it down big-time style right here in the Big Apple, baby, in Madison Square Garden.
And their first field goal in 8 minutes for Florida State ties the game.
Well, what a time to get it. The big fella converts. Now here's Indiana. Remember this. The clock does not start until the ball touches the hand of a player. You know what rule I'd love to see converted to the collegiate game? The NBA rule where in the last 2 minutes you have a choice and option where to inbound the ball. It puts a lot more fun into the game. More coaching decisions have to be made.
What about stopping the clock when the ball goes through the hoop?
You mean at the end of the game?
At the end of the game.
2 minutes?
Yes.
And that's a good one, too. It eliminates all those wild timeouts. I mean, those crazy timeouts that we see one after another. I mean, is this fun city or what? In the Big Apple? I mean, this is fun time. Trying to get us on TV. I can't believe it. I'm on TV.
You're on TV an awful lot
Wow.
at this time of year, but when you have games like this, nobody is complaining about it. I mean, this is more than you could hope for. 3.5 seconds left, tied at 69 apiece.
I wonder what our guy Jimmy V's doing back home. Is he screaming and jumping?
Absolutely, you know he is.
He had a great time. He played a little golf. Should I tell you the score? I shouldn't tell you the score on a TPC golf course, should I?
The only number I remember you talking about when you talked about Jim playing golf was how much it cost you to get on the course.
He doesn't like to give up the cash, you know. I gave it up today at lunch. Here it is right now. They're going to put pressure on the guy throwing it bounds. I think that's a good decision. Father, so he doesn't get a good look for a baseball pass. Runs the clock down, hands up. Good defense. I mean, that's a prayer. That's a total prayer. We're going OT.
You've got to be impressed by the job Florida State did. There were 3 seconds left, and that's the best shot
early in the season. But the one key thing here for both these clubs, as opposed to UCLA in the next game, when you talk about not having a whole lot of practice time with the start on November 1st, both these teams are very experienced basketball teams, Indiana and Florida State. They return such a solid nucleus. Indiana only lost Eric Anderson, who's now a 12th man here in New York with the New York Knicks. It's better being the 12th man in the NBA with the Knicks than being the first man in the CBA. And if you don't believe it, look at your check on a 15 to 30.
Yes, that's right.
But they lost Meeks as well, a good little point guard who gave him a lot of positive minutes.
Every foul, keep in mind now, will be a 2-shot for each team. We're over the 10.
Overtime always starts with a jump ball. The start of a game starts with the jump ball. Overtime starts with the jump ball. You get one more timeout here in the overtime. 5 minutes extra is the playing time.
Indiana now with 3 timeouts. Florida State gets 1 after getting it back. And Florida State controls it. Dobar taps it back to Edwards.
Alan Henderson really been a non-factor scoring-wise in the second half. He's too talented.
Wells tries to do it himself. Pops free. Edwards can't get it. Nice job to knock it back out to Serva.
Edwards really tough to handle in that post.
Edwards again rattles in and out. And Pat Graham comes away with it.
Pat Graham's really been a positive force off that bench. They're going with Bailey for offense right now here in the overtime rather than Reynolds.
Damon Bailey open for the shot offline. You could see from the time he released it.
He just doesn't seem to have that confident delivery, especially even on a free throw line where he threw up those 3 bricks.
Parcells lets it fly and has it.
Little one-on-one basketball. He's been doing that all his life in the streets of Baltimore. Out to Maine Central Institute where he played. Boy, that school's produced a lot of players. Johnny Rhodes, remember that name? He's going to be a big star. Maryland had 30 last night in an exhibition game. He played at Maine Central.
Henderson fights through the lane, but it's an offensive foul.
You could see that coming. It was almost telegraphed. Allen gets in a one-on-one maneuver, but he really, you can see the defense ready to rotate over. There goes Henderson to the goal. Now here comes Edwards. He comes right over. He's planted. Defensive player starts in legal defensive position by, oh, this is double dribble. By having both feet planted to the ground.
Henderson, no field goals, and he has 1 point in the last 27 minutes of play.
Had a big game against Tulane. Ask Perry Clark. Had big, big numbers.
28 points, I believe, against Tulane.
I like that kid Reed down at Tulane. Anthony Reed can play. Execution right now. Indiana trying to execute. High percentage screen across the lane. Horizontal screen. Clint Edwards now playing Cheney.
Nice pass underneath the Bailey. He has about 3 hands in his face. Henderson with the follow.
Nice tip by Allen. Good extension. He's got the long reach. Good fingertips. They've been rotating a lot of bodies on Cheney. Sammy Cassell likes that high screen. There's the high screen. Screener steps out as a release man.
Edwards can't get it. Bounces free. Dobar quickly on Henderson. He finds his way out of trouble.
Indiana playing a little bit more patient now on the offensive end. Relying a little bit more on half-court execution. See, they got Edwards now doubling up on Cheney. Doesn't matter, he's so quick.
Wells with a good rebound after the miss by Cheney.
Ed Wells has gotten better and better from last year. 6'10 player, good look at the basket. 15, as you said earlier, against Siena.
Played very well defensively in this contest.
Trying to get right here, a little spread the court, take advantage of his one-on-one ability.
Cassell throws it up underhanded. It won't go, and then he commits a foul.
And he can't lose his cool right now. Bench decorum. You don't need 18. You might just have an official ready to apply the rule. Got to calm down, Sam. Pat's trying to calm him down. He's gone. He's gone. That's number 5. But go out quietly, Sam. Sudden Sam put 18 on a board. Didn't have a good day shooting the rock.
That is going to be tough, losing Sam Cassell.
He's got to go with a freshman now, a kid from Indiana who they didn't recruit, Scott Shepard. Does he come back? I mean, this is a story like Hoosiers. Does he come back now and haunt the school that, as a youngster, he used to dream of maybe playing? Where his uncle went, Billy. No, his uncle was Dave. His dad was Billy, was Mr. Basketball. That family's got a rich tradition there in the state of Indiana, Carmel, Indiana.
You're writing scripts for Hollywood now as Reynolds comes back in.
If he ever would have hit a jumper to win this at the buzzer, you talk about a script. I could see the Indianapolis papers, 295 of the boys down there, Bob and Tom and company talking about it like you can't believe. They got you should see these guys that host the radio show out in Indiana. 295, you ever heard of them? Oh, you did? You're not?
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, they are unbelievable.
Henderson struggling at the line now, 1 for 4.
Well, Henderson struggling on the line. What about Bailey? Bailey's 0 for 3, I believe.
Graham struggled up there as well, Pat Graham. Gets the second one to give Indiana a 1-point lead.
Now let's see if Shepard can handle this kind of pressure. He's not a super quick kid. Came to school a little bit heavy, but he's a good ball handler and a good shooter. What a time to get indoctrinated. Overtime game.
On the baseline.
Shepard says, hey, I'll just get it to my guy Surra. They were hanging around the hotel lobby yesterday. I had a chance to rap with both guys in the lobby at the Marriott.
Cheney free, has to come back out with it to Chris Reynolds.
See, they play off Reynolds. They know Reynolds is not going to look at the basket, that he really has two basic roles. One, to defend and stop the progress of the ball, and two, to key the initial look to the offense. So here's Shepard right now. He knows he really doesn't have to guard Reynolds. There he's trying to run that little curl move, chaining inside, but he gets bumped over the top by Edwards.
Chaney will go to the line. The chance to put it back to a 1-point Indiana lead if he can hit both. 28 points now for Calvert Chaney.
What a tremendous career he's had. Really a super career. Won 56 games the last 2 years of his career. Scores in the system. Scores in a situation where he's sitting on a bench a little bit, but he doesn't do things the right way.
Chance to become the all-time leading scorer in Indiana this year.
I guarantee Shepard didn't see defense in high school like he's going to see here out of Reynolds.
Oh, nice move by Edwards, but too strong off the glass. Wells saves it back out for Sura.
Excellent move by Doug Edwards, but doesn't convert.
Sura a little too strong with it.
Chaney gets fouled.
Edwards fouls him.
You can almost start to feel, though it's a one-point game, that a little frustration setting in a little bit with Florida State and some of the fouling down here late in the game, in the overtime.
Calvert Chaney will go back to the line. 1 minute 2 seconds left. Edwards is now fouled out of the game. So Pat Kennedy loses his point guard in Sam Cassell. Now his big-time gun on the blocks.
Lose a lot of experience, inside-outside act. You lose a guy like Cassell with his presence on a perimeter. You lose an inside player. It's tough to win basketball games when you have two guys sitting next to you as an assistant coach. I mean, he's got enough assistant coaches. He doesn't need them as assistants.
And Andre Reed will come in.
Pat coaches his heart out on that sideline. He has such a love for what he's doing. I think anybody that has, I've heard Lou Holtz speak about this, John. When you have a passion and a love for what you're doing, I mean, you get compensated for what you're doing. I mean, what greater way or what greater job to have. He's the guy you don't want to put on that line. I mean, this guy here is like, especially late in the game, a little smooth as can be.
5 for 5 now from the stripe.
He's going to be playing in this arena throughout his career in the future because there's no question he's going to play at the next level.
6 for 6 and a 3-point lead for Indiana.
I'm not inferring to be with the Knicks, but he'll be coming here with whoever he's playing with. Now here's Shepard now. Here's the storybook story. Indiana, schoolboy super, playing against the Hoosiers.
Sura, that's a 3-pointer. No good.
Sura struggling shooting the rock. Let's see if they spread the court right now. Do they smell the final? The Hoosiers. The one negative losing here is you got to play a consolation. Here's the reach in.
37 seconds now. Indiana up by 3.
Not much difference between these two heavyweights, John. Not much difference at all. And remember, we didn't see Florida State full cast. Chuck Ram's out now. Well, he's going to be out all year, so I guess we can't talk about him, but they will get Charlie Ward after the bowl game.
Impressed with both teams, though, ability to come back after being down pretty big.
Yeah, both clubs had a bounce back, as you said. 15 points down with Florida State. They come back. They take a lead by 8. That's a 23-point turnaround. Then Indiana finds a way, but Pat Graham comes off the bench. Push those buttons on that sideline. Today the General pushed the buttons. They came out his way. Good use of that bench by General Robert Montgomery Knight, a Hall of Famer, whose career started right in the Garden. When I used to be a young high school coach, I used to come in and watch this young guy at West Point beating all the supers. They called him Bobby T, baby. He used to explode and get a lot of technicals.
Right now, though, he has reason to be happy because a shot to advance with a 5-point lead. 37 seconds left, still plenty of time. And up next, it'll be UCLA and Seton Hall.
You're always laughing at me every time I say something. A big smile. This guy's always laughing at me.
I'm just having such a great time.
I can
sit next to you here in Madison Square Garden watching this.
And your beautiful wife, Wanda's here.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'll tell you, that next game when you talk Seton Hall and UCLA coming up, Terry DeHare really has become one of the marquee names in college basketball. From right down the road at St. Anthony's in Jersey City. Inside, outside, if you want it, they have DeHare and Jerry Walker. You talk UCLA. Ed O'Bannon, to me, was the best high school player in America when he came out 3 years ago. Unfortunately, he had that injury, but he told us today, my knee is no longer a problem. I don't even wear any brace. I'm ready to play. And then he had a great message to us. I thought it was a riot. He said, please, Charlie, please come and play with me. Talking about his brother, Charles O'Bannon, who's one of the top 5 players in high school basketball. He was pleading today for his brother, who's really recruited hard by Kentucky, by Michigan, by Southern Cal. He wants him here. Look at his free throws in OT. 7 for 8.
At halftime, Indiana was struggling. They had one less than Florida State. Sura comes around the pick and up by NBA range. Nothing there. Wells backs it out. He'll put up a three-pointer and get it.
Myron Wells, the look at the hoop, baby. Now if you're Pat Kennedy, you try to make the steal. There's plenty of time. You try to make the steal. If it's not there, you put him at the free throw line and hope you can come back again with another deuce.
That was Florida State's final timeout.
Big 3. You get one extra timeout in the OT. Let's see, who's this standing right here? Is that Graham?
It's like Pat Graham, who's injured. You have to be concerned when you see him down after a guy who has missed all of last year.
He had a problem last year with a foot injury that sidelined him for the whole season.
Actually, he just had surgery again on that back in March. As recent as that, after missing the entire year. Let's see if we can see what happens here. That was just on his own, and he reached immediately for the foot. And if you're an Indiana fan, after knowing he missed all of last year,
he had bone surgery, John, May 21st. You look up in there, guide on the same bone, it says here, after the bone had softened.
And it's his left foot, that's the one he reached for as well.
He broke his 5th metatarsal bone in that left foot during preseason practice last season. He looks in pain right here. Team doctor talking to him. What a great game. What a tough luck he's had.
See the situation. Timeouts. Indiana has 2, Florida State none. Both teams in what we'll call the double bonus, meaning they shoot 2 on every foul. The possession arrow, if the ball's tied up, it will go to Indiana.
This game is not over. Stay in your seatbelts, baby. 20.9 seconds. Got an eternity right here. So there's the immediate foul. They want to stop the clock, make him go to the line, convert, but that's not the guy that you want out there in that line. There goes Graham to the locker room. It doesn't look pleasant right now.
That's a shame. Having a great second half, 14 points off in the second half. Looking forward to this year after missing all of last year.
Injuries are really popping up on the college scene. Arturas, Karnashevas, Seton Hall's got a partial tear of a ligament in his knee. He'll probably play a few minutes. It happened about a week ago. It was a grade 1 tear.
That's 32 for Chaney. That's a career high.
It's not only his 32, John. It's his presence on the floor, his passing ability. The defense really reacts to him a great deal. But I just see so much of an improvement from last year in Talbot Chaney, just watching him here and watching him on a tube against Tulane.
Florida State needs a quick one with no timeouts left. Back to 2 again as Sura drives. 5 seconds left.
Dangerous pass.
Almost stolen away. There's a quick foul.
Could have got the ball up the court wide open. Henderson, nobody near him. That was a dangerous pass to float that pass in the backcourt like that. You throw it up. Look at Kennedy. No quitting this guy. I mean, he's fighting. Sartorial splendor. Look at his dress. He learned that from Jimmy V. How to dress like that at Iona.
Absolutely. At least that's what Jim will say.
He loses tonight. Jimmy will say, hey, I don't want to get credit for some of those decisions.
Because he doesn't know him when he loses. He only knows him when he wins.
When he wins, he said he uses all my stuff.
Chaney with a chance to ice the game if he can hit both, but he misses one, and so Florida State, regardless of what he does with this one, will still have a shot to at least go to overtime.
If you're Indiana, you just don't want to retreat defensively. You don't want to foul, but you want to put some pressure after the conversion right here. 3 points, they're going to Sura to the look.
Has to be a 3, but no chance for it, and the clock expires with the Indiana Hoosiers a 3-point winner, 81-78.
What a super first game.